Oh, hi. Since my last video, a lot has happened in and around AI image generators. One of the more notable things is that Stable Diffusion has made a major shift in its handling of its dataset, with the introduction of
Version 2.
For the uninitiated, Stable Diffusion is an open source model, unlike Midjourney and DALL-E. This allows the community to quickly improve on the tool and for developers to integrate it into their products free of charge. However, it also means that Stable Diffusion has fewer restrictions compared to its contemporaries. But those constraints have seemingly grown with the new version, and interestingly, there are a lot of AI users that are pissed. On the 24th of November, there was an update that re-engineered vital components of the model while improving certain features like upscaling and inpainting. But the changes also make it harder for Stable Diffusion to generate certain types of images such as nudes, porn, and photorealistic pictures of celebrities. Users also noted that asking version 2 to generate images in the style of Greg Wachowski no longer creates artwork that closely resembles his work, seemingly proving that images that mimic the artworks of specific artists were no longer on the table. So, why did this happen? Well, this is the result of needing to remove all nude and pornographic images from Stable Diffusion's training data, as previous models trained on the old data was already being used to output sexually explicit imagery, including both photorealistic and stylized images, typically in the style of anime, that if the user wanted, could be honed in to resemble specific individuals or used to create images of child abuse. In the software's official Discord, the CEO of Stability AI, Imad Mostak, eloquently said,
"Can't have kids and not safe for work in an open model, so get rid of the kids or get rid of the not safe for work."
Further elaborating on Twitter,
"We remove not safe for work images from training datasets, so as we go to photorealistic we don't have a model that can do not safe for work and pictures of children at the same time."
So, does this mean the debate over AI art and art laundering by the use of ill-gotten data is finally over? No. Imad also confirmed that Stability AI has not removed artist images from the training data.
"We didn't remove anything except duplicating but moved to fully open datasets and are building it up."
And users discovered that names of smaller artists can still be used as an identifier within the dataset, acting as a type of synonym for the more recognizable artists that had been removed. This, in my opinion, further highlights how vital the scrap data has been to the model's success, especially the copyrighted images, and that machine learning is not simply the same as artists using references, as humans interpret subjectively while AI computers are objective in what they learn. A great case study of this is Esref Armagan, an artist born without eyes, driven not by the desire to become an artist, but to simply understand the unseen world around him and feel connected to it. With the encouragement of his father and his curiosity for concepts such as colour, light and perspective, Esref was able to build a skill set and techniques that enabled him to create works that cast doubt on if he was ever truly blind. He was, though, so let's not get confused on that point. He's a great example of the fact that our ability to understand space exceeds the limit of our visual library. When it comes to AI, however, all you get is what you put in. You won't be able to make Digimon characters using Pokemon images as a dataset. It's as simple as that, right? To suggest these models are learning or observing in a human sense is sidestepping the ethical issues of the sourcing of these datasets, but we're getting a bit sidetracked, so if you can, I would actually recommend checking out his story. Imad has also said,
"We are trying to be super transparent as we improve the base models and incorporate community feedback."
Where the future model of Stable Diffusion, version 3, would use training datasets that would allow artists to opt in or out, and is working with HaveIBeenTrained.com to offer artists the ability to opt out of the Lion training dataset, one image at a time. Sadly though, this does not resolve the issue of previous versions that are out in the wild, or that the use of Stream Diffusion, which can be used on all versions, can easily reintroduce artists who have opted out. Not to mention that Stability AI is not the only players on the field. So yeah, although this sounds good, it doesn't fully mitigate what has already been done, but rather covers the asses of Stability AI from
having a file that can generate it out of the box will lead to this being legislated out of existence, plus potential legal liability for all.
Still, Imad has encouraged his community to create their own models.
A good model should be usable by everyone, and if you want to add stuff, add stuff. Now, AI brothers and cyber sisters, allow me to introduce our guest topic, unstable diffusion.
Unstable Diffusion might have been the most brazen of these AI projects, as it was going to be a generator without restrictions, enabling users to generate explicit content banned by mainstream AI art generators, including the reintroduction of removed art styles, willingly ignoring all licensing to scrap art sites without permission to amass 25 million high-quality images, and paying no heed to Emad's warning of being legislated to oblivion. Originally posted on Kickstarter and quickly surpassing its goal, before it was unceremoniously suspended. Now, Kickstarter did not make a direct response to the project, but they did issue a statement on the views of AI on their platform, saying,
Kickstarter must, and will always be, on the side of creative work and the humans behind that work. We're here to help creative work thrive.
Undeterred, Unstable Diffusion has continued their attempts to crowdsource funding, first moving to Patreon before its suspension there, and now settling on Stripe, a popular credit card processor used by many websites. In this last month, the conversation on AI has really come to a boil. With the overwhelming success of Lensa and apps like it, the art community has come together and said no!
To the exploitation, the abuse, the gaslight, and to allowing the small handler companies decide what the future should look like for art, artists everywhere are saying no!
And in response, there have been many platforms and softwares that have abandoned or restricted the use of AI. The biggest shocker of which was Civet AI, a platform that was hosting custom Stable Diffusion models that all of a sudden announced they'll start accepting takedown notices on the request of artists if the model is tuned to them specifically. Now, this was met with outrage and confusion, as they were the senders of the infamous email to Sam Dazart about a competition on the best model that was able to replicate his style. So to go from the pestering to all of a sudden a policy that is completely on the opposite end of the spectrum is very unexpected, to say the least. All in all, though, I think this goes to show that the genie isn't simply out of the bottle. The tech is just in its infancy. And if it wants to be accepted by the wider public, there are views and concerns that will have to be addressed by the companies and creators of these models and datasets. It is clear to me that the artists standing up for themselves are forcing these companies to change course somewhat. However, what is needed isn't self-governance, but regulation that protects both the consumers and artistic labour. As the current trajectory of an open source model built on copyright-free and opt-in data sets, but is still trainable, will only be a roundabout way of having us back at square one, where companies have washed their hands of any liability and placed it squarely on the shoulders of their users. Governments have shown that they can regulate AI without stifling the industries that the tech was set to impact. For example, there's China's rather heavy-handed approach to banning all AI without watermarks in response to it being used by some to produce, copy, publish, and disseminate illegal and harmful information, in addition to slander and belittling of others' reputation, counterfeiting others' identities, and so on. There's also New York, where they passed regulations to control for bias in the city's automated employment decision tool, which goes into effect in April of this year. This would make it unlawful for an employer or employment agency to use AI and similar tech to evaluate New York City candidates and employees unless there is an independent bias audit before using the AI employment tools. Even the EU are on track to set the world's first broad standards for artificial intelligence at some point this year. Now is your chance to be heard. The USPTO are currently reaching out to the public for comment on how to improve IP protection, and currently there are a number of efforts to lobby governments on the issue of AI, and I'll link below to the ones I'm aware of. But if you'd like to know more about the issue and concerns of AI art, click this video to find out more.